I'm JJ Barnes, and this is Jonathan McKinney.
Hello.
And you are watching Writing Advice with JJ and Jonathan. Today we're going to be talking to you about an Intro to Sorkinian Dialogue. So if you've never heard of him and you want to write, you need to hear of him and study him.
Okay, I agree.
Aaron Sorkin. He is an American writer. He writes film and television and plays. And he's exceptional and worth studying. So not just for the dialogue. We're doing dialogue today, and we'll do more on Sorkinian dialogue because it is an expansive subject worth studying in and of itself, purely for the way he writes dialogue. But there are other aspects of his creative process that are also exceptional.
There are. I will say that of the big dialogue giants in sort of contemporary storytelling, especially in Hollywood, right? You would talk about Joss Whedon. Yeah. You would talk about
Amy Sherman Palladino,
and you'd talk about Quentin Tarantino, like it or not. Aaron Sorkin is similar to Amy Sherman Palladino. They both use a technique when it comes to dialogue that you can actually understand. Sometimes with Joss Whedon and Quentin Tarantino, you feel like it's just their personality, their character that is infused into the way that characters talk.
I think if you look
that's harder to learn from, because you can't take on Joss Whedon's personality.
If you look at as examples of why I agree, Gilmore Girls for Amy Sherman Palladino, The West Wing for Aaron Sorkin, they are fast, they are stylish speech. Sorkin is who we're going to talk about there.
Yeah, there is, with both Sherman Palladino and Sorkin, there is a lot of their personalities infused into the way that people talk. Yeah. But there is actually also something else that you can learn and apply to your own writing. You can extrapolate
that technique out of what they do. Infuse it into your own writing.
So, the technique that we're going to look at really is, and this is why it's an introduction.
Yeah, as I said, there are a lot of other things.
So consider you're writing a scene, you've got 4 characters in the scene. What Aaron Sorkin will do is he will sort of supercharge them all with pressing things that they want to talk about. Yeah. This then, it fuels the scene, it energizes the scene. So it's a typical scene might have one character who has got a purpose in that scene. They want to find out who, stole the cheese, right? And,
who stole my cheese?
Very important to JJ to find out who stole her cheese. You put her in a room with 4 other people who've also got important things to talk about, and you get conflict because everybody's competing for the right to dominate the conversation. You get a lot of character because you learn what those characters are like. You learn what kind of people they are based on what it is that drives them to try and dominate the conversation.
And we always say in characterization conversations that your characters all need to be motivated. Yeah. They all, even your prop characters around the edge, they all need to have something that they care about anyway.
Yeah. Something that they are in pursuit of to make them active in the story.
They are all the protagonist of their own story. So you happen to be focusing on your protagonist, but everybody needs to also be a protagonist, which means they all have to be motivated, they all have to be, arcing, they all have to be on their own journeys, but you don't focus on the other journeys, they're just part of your story. But the way Sorkin does the dialogue demonstrates that. Yeah. He hasn't just got them doing things that are referenced to show that they are motivated. Yeah. So, you've got JJ wants to find out about her cheese, and Jono wants to find out about his sausages. And instead of just being JJ goes on looking for her cheese, and she notices that Jonathan is looking for sausages, but carries on her pursuit of cheese, they will have a conversation started by JJ about her cheese, where Jonathan talks about his sausages.
It sounds like a great scene, right?
But you know what I mean? And then you bring in other characters who are also in pursuit of something, also motivated. They are also the protagonist of their own story.
Yeah, never mind the cheese, never mind the sausages. What about my sodding Baileys? I'm tired, it's been a long day, and I want my sodding Baileys.
Where's my Baileys?
We don't care about the Baileys. We've had wine. Let's just find the cheese and we can all have the cheese. This is a weird, surreal scene to depict, but you can see how the characters become active by the thing they're in pursuit of. And
the scene comes alive. It's not just... Yeah. Because scenes of dialogue-heavy scenes can be flat, because they can just be, hi, I'm looking for my cheese. Oh, it's over there.
Yeah, I don't know where it is.
Yeah, but if you've got everybody who is interesting and motivated and passionate and caring about something.
So with regards to the West Wing, so Aaron Sorkin is the creator of the West Wing. He writes almost every episode for the first 4 seasons of that TV show, so that's like 22 episodes a year.
Writing God.
22 episodes of television a year. You're a writer, so you probably understand that that's absolutely insane.
That's a lot of words. That is a lot of words.
It is a lot of words.
Especially because his scripts are long, because they're also dialogue heavy and everyone has to speak quickly.
Yeah, the expectation with a screenplay is that one page in the script is worth a minute on screen.
Time.
But the episode of West Wing was like 42.5 minutes. The scripts weren't 42.5 pages long, they were like over 100 pages long. So that's because they talk so fast. Everybody's talking.
It's the same with Gilmore Girls. If you watch those 2 shows and observe how quickly people speak, and you have to have the ability to write that much dialogue.
Yeah, and that
is alive and not just dull. Dull.
The reason why Gilmore Girls and West Wing work the way they do, in terms of the way the dialogue sparkles, is because it's performed. In a novel, if you were to novelize an episode of the West Wing, it wouldn't work as well, because you're reading it the same speed you read anything else. There's something about it, there's a magic to it when it's performed that it kind of bamboozles a little bit, but you keep up. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. You would write, in a novel you'd have to write it differently, because you can't force people to read it at a different speed.
No, but what you can do, if you're taking the West Wing and you're applying it to your novel writing, is that you can use the technique of motivating everybody. And I haven't really touched on this yet, but one of the things that Aaron Sorkin does a lot, which really supercharges these scenes, is he won't just give every character one thing that they want to talk about. He'll give them a few things that they want to talk about. So you then have a lot of hopping from conversation points.
And they all have multiple things that think about. Even if they're not wanting to talk about them, they are thinking about them and still driven by them.
Yeah. If you have, say again, 4 or 5 characters and they're all talking about something serious, but one of them is talking about something that's a little absurd, then every time they chirp in, it's just got a humorous quality to it. So you might have Josh, who's one of the characters in the West Wing. He might be concerned with something ridiculous that everybody else feels is ridiculous, and every time that they're talking about their serious things and having their grown-up conversation about politics, and he's chirping away about his
cheese,
it might be his vanity or his ego, because that's the kind of character he is. But then you've got incredible drama, because the characters are all active and in pursuit. You've got the light touch that makes it not just a boring political show. And you've got opportunities to show your audience who these people are really quickly.
It'll connect you to the characters all the time, because nobody is then just a prop who is a blank screen. Nobody. Which means you've got more people to connect to, more people to care about, more people to be invested in the lives of, because you're being given an insight to them through these scenes with all the different motivations going on. And it can be hard to write, so we're not saying this is an easy thing to do, just go and do that. It's not easy, because you do have to hold all these different motivations, all these different things in your head, and translate them in a way that isn't confusing but is lively and interesting. But it can be done, and it is worth it, because the impact is that you care about these characters. Your scenes are more interesting and exciting and lively and fun. Everything about it is notched up in quality, and you have to work for it. It's not just a technique you just, light switch, I can do that. It is something that you might have to study, and you might have to practice and practice and practice. And we are not as good as Aaron Sorkin, obviously, and we know about this, and we try and put it into practice and have done for years, and we are still not up to the standard of Aaron Sorkin. So don't be alarmed if it is something you're overwhelmed with when you first start trying to do it.
There is a problem if you want to write this kind of high energy dialogue. A lot of the time it would be unnatural, because if you've got, say for example, we're writing a movie about a group of friends who go away with each other for a weekend, right, as a sort of last hurrah, because they're all sort of splitting away into different...
It's called Hollowhead. I'll put a link in the description.
That's right. They're not going to work. They're going to relax.
Yeah.
So if they were all supercharged all the time, it would be kind of atonal to
It would. You can't have them energy, because they want to sit down, they want to have a drink, they want to have a chatter. So you can't, but you can still have each of them have something going on.
Yeah.
And as I say, it might not come through in like rapid fire dialogue, but it will come through in the way they speak and the things they choose to say.
Yeah. But they're allowing each other the space to talk. If you can up the motivation so that they don't feel like they have the time to allow each other to talk, that's where you get your conflict at that level.
Yeah.
And that's just really part of the escalation process as you tell your story.
Yeah.
And we will, like, that's part of our story.
It has to grow though. The pressure to fight for your speaking time will grow with the story.
Yeah.
But you can still, as I say, even on a basic level, the things you choose to say in a conversation are impacted by what you have in your head, what you're feeling, what you've got worrying about, everything like that. And if you infuse that into your characters so they've all got something going on, it just makes everything better. So try it. So thank you very much for watching our Intro to Sorkinian Dialogue. We will be back. We will do more on Aaron Sorkin. We will do more on some of the different techniques he uses in his writing, not just dialogue, but all of his styles. And we'll talk about other writers as well. If you have a particular writer, an author or a screenwriter who you particularly love for a reason, comment below and we'll do a video on them, because there are so many incredible writers out there, men and women, who are putting words on the page or images on the screen that are just astounding for different reasons. And it's if you want to write and love writing, you want to study the masters.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
want to understand what makes their work brilliant. So yeah, comment below if you've got an opinion on anybody who we should be talking about, because we'd love to.
I agree.
And also you can come and find us on social media. I'm Judy Ann Rose and he's John Muck on Twitter. We talk about writing over there a lot, and you can come and find that. And obviously there's links to all our work in the comments, in the description below. Yeah, come find us, come talk to us, and we would love to hear from you, and we'll be back again soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.